So this is the beef that just keeps on coming. It just keeps on coming. When you thought that you've seen the last of the beef between Tamar Braxton and K. Michelle, it hasn't gone anywhere. What is it that actually kicked this beef off again to the point where K. Michelle has resorted to saying, you know what, I'll slap her. I will slap her. Like she just has had enough. Let's talk about it. Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. Listen, this is a hot topic. Hot topics with SpillitBoyTV. We're going to talk about K. Michelle, Tamar Braxton, that beef that they've had going on for years. It's been years. We know for a fact they're not friends. I doubt very seriously that they're ever going to be friends. It kind of is what it is. And then where does Cam Newton actually fit into this whole thing? And why does he have K. Michelle crying? I'm going to talk about all that. And there's a couple other little things I'm going to talk about, like the court of public opinion. It seems to keep coming up. I think I've talked about the court of public opinion maybe 3 different times this past week. Court of public opinion is a very, very real thing, especially in the world of celebrity and in the world of social media. So I'm going to definitely talk about that as well. 1 second, y'all. Sorry. Sorry, you guys. Okay, so Tamar Braxton and K. Michelle. I thought that things had kind of tapered off a little bit. You know, the biggest thing is that whole thing of her calling K. Michelle calling her a Muppet. Well, it seems as though Tamar's been busy. We all know Tamar does. She revisits her beefs, and she will throw little shade. She will do some subliminals. This is what K. Michelle was saying had actually happened. She went on to Cam Newton's show for an interview. So he's interviewing her, and it actually comes up. It comes up. He asked her the question, well, do female artists battle and beef the same way that male rappers do? Like, Cam, stop it. Everybody knows they do. Everybody knows that these two are like the most famous for it. She wouldn't even call her name. She didn't call Tamar's name. She just said, yeah, that Muppet. Yeah, me and that Muppet be at it. And then she said, he's like, oh, he knew exactly who she was talking about. And K. Michelle went on to say, I hate that bitch. I said, whoa. So it's actually still there. It's up and it's stuck. And then K. Michelle continued on to basically say that Tamar actually has been like trying to stop bookings for her and things like that. I said, see, I did a video earlier in the week about beef always has something to do with money. Money always plays a part in the beef. K. Michelle actually went on and she actually added that there was even more to what was in the beef is another thing that will keep beef going. A man. I said, oh, see, In all this time, I don't think we've ever, I know I haven't ever really gotten into exactly what Tamar was doing that made K. Michelle slice her up. All I know is they had some words, and it was more so through some subliminals. And then K. Michelle's tongue is more lethal than Tamar's. Tamar don't think that it is. Tamar really thinks that she's a gay man, and she thinks that she could read, roast, and gag. But K. Michelle is just as gay of a man as she is. And K. Michelle reads down. Tamar's friends that be around her can read. You know, you got the, never mind, I'm not even going to go to naming the people, but you got people who are around her who we know are fierce readers, but not so much Tamar. I don't see Tamar as such a fierce reader. She says a few things here and there that's funny, but more times than not, Tamar gets her ass handed to her, and then she cries. She is a crybaby. You will never be a roaster and a gagger. You will never be a fierce reader or anything of that nature when you cry. You got to be able to take it on the chin and deliver. Take it on the chin and deliver. Ain't nobody got no time for you crying. She called that girl a muppet, and the girl fell into pieces on national television. That you lost then. You lost. Tamar, you weren't spoken about. When K. Michelle had the camera on her on Love and Hip Hop, K. Michelle did her job. She promoted the K. Michelle brand. Not one time on Mona's situation at Love and Hip Hop did she bring you up. At no time did Tamar Braxton ever get shine on Love and Hip Hop through K. Michelle. It never happened. It never happened. But you, my dear, sat on that chair over there at the View, broke down into tears, and gave the whole focus to K. Michelle. She had a whole day on the View, and she wasn't even there promoting the product. All because she called you a Muppet. She said you look like Janice the Muppet. And here's the thing. My grandmother always used to say, it's the truth that hurts. That's why you broke down in tears. Because when she said it, you knew she was right. When she said it, you went over there and looked in the mirror, and you had that blonde wig or weave with them bangs, and you knew damn well you was looking like Janice the Muppet. And it is the truth that hurts. And for whatever reason, it cut you. Yeah, the real. I'm sorry, y'all. The real, not the View. The real. Okay, listen. Thank you. Thank you for the assist. I appreciate it. But yeah, over there on the real. But yeah, free promo. Free promo. K. Michelle have to pay nothing for it. Now that's going to go down in history. That you got dragged and you went on TV and you start crying. So we don't take you serious. When you get on and you call yourself reading K. Michelle, we don't take you seriously. We don't. There's nothing that you can say to K. Michelle to actually bring it back around. So from what Kay is saying, you want to win in a different way. So you go behind the scenes and you try to stop her bag. All's fair in love and war. Is it petty? Yeah. But all's fair in love and war. If that's how you get your win, that will be the only way you'll get your win. Because in the court of public opinion, you ain't never going to get no win. Not from us. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And we see you bothering other people. You just had a whole situation with Lonnie Love. And then you had to backpedal on Pussy Pop. And then you're back in a week and a half apologizing. You done called that woman Big Back Cadillac. You done called her Big Back Cadillac. Then you had to turn around and you had to go back on because the court of public opinion ate you up. What were you doing? Lonnie Love wasn't bothering you. You just took a dig. I'm just going to drag her. Took a dig. Couldn't stand in the court of public opinion. But this is what happened. So now, and there were some people really getting at K. Michelle because people felt sorry for you because of all the tears and everything. So it worked for a little bit, but not very long. Not very long. And Patti LaBelle had to actually get involved. This is just some of the background, y'all. Patti LaBelle had to get involved to bring it down to a simmer. On the BET Awards, she had them both come in and sing with her to squash the beef. Auntie, come in to squash the beef. But what did you do? You've taken digs at her yet again, even after that. And she say one or two things and you be done. Done. Well, she done got you again. She's over there with Cam Newton. The subject comes up. She told him that she'll slap the fuck out of you, is what she said. That's what she said. She's tired of the back and forth. She's tired of playing the game with you. Now she's all the way there. She ain't no more apologies, no more watching her step with what she said. Now K. Michelle has begun to drag you. She's begun to drag you now. She's come to drag you. Here's a little bit of what she said. I said, oh, Tamar, you'll be crying again. She said, 3 years of you poking. 3 years of you poking, okay? Trying to stop her bag. She said, here's your issue. Because he said, well, what is the issue? She said, girl, you're upset with me all because your sister is the actual star. She said, you ain't got no edges. And here's the killer, honey. The man you love came for me before, during, and after you. I said, oh my God. I said, girl, there you go right there. That's why she's over to mess with your money. Because how dare you? You call me a Muppet, and then all this time, my love interest is over there grinning and skinning with you. I said, oh, well, there's the beef. That's why it's the beef. And so now we got the man and the money. Oh, yeah. This is a full-out war at this point. It's a full-out war at this point. I said, oh. And then she topped it off with, and you're really mad because I'm from the country, but you're the bumpkin. I said, help me, somebody. Leave K. Michelle alone. Leave her alone. That lady, leave that lady alone. Leave that lady alone. That lady is not, K. Michelle is a real life drag queen. A real life biological woman drag queen. She is not to be toyed with. Her tongue is something lethal. Leave that lady alone, Tamar. You don't compete where you don't compare. Leave that lady alone. Let her be. And then now she talking about she'll slap your face, honey. Leave that lady alone. Because it look like you're going to need all your gay Judies around you, girl, because she is eating you up. Eating you up. And we already know, girl, she makes you cry. She makes you cry. I literally, as it was falling out of her mouth, I could literally see in my head Tamar doubling over, honey, and her stomach tightening and the tears just falling out of her face. I was like, hey, Michelle, my goodness. Called the woman. She said she's a loudmouth coyote. She was eating her up. You hear me? Eating her up. Now, here's the thing. Old Cam. Old Cam. Cam decided to tell K. Michelle, well, ever since you've been on this platform, you've been talking about women's empowerment And you also been talking about transparency and accountability. Now, I'm going to hold you to that. I said, wait a minute, Cam. Wait a minute. That's going to take me into how these things actually happen, okay? Kay worked her way right up out there. That's what she went deep with him and told him, after all the poking and prodding, you wouldn't do it. Don't ask me to do it. I am an advocate for women's empowerment. I am an advocate for transparency. I am an advocate for accountability. And I do live this way these days. I've made my mistakes. I do live these ways these days. But on the whole transparency thing, baby, she said to him, I can play cool, but I cannot play the fool. And she told him, you would not sit and allow anybody to poke and prod at you for all this time, and you just keep taking it, and I'm not either. I said, ooh, eat that up. Eat that up. Now, this is the importance of clips and seeing the full thing whenever you can. As a YouTuber, I make it a point not to, I don't have to be the first one to click the button to tell y'all something. Now, listen, trust and believe, if I break a story, it would make my numbers go. Like that's, everybody wants to break a story. Everybody wants to break a story, but at what cost? At what cost? Because then the numbers grow and then you can't keep them, because generally when you're the one that comes and breaks a story and you don't know the whole story, a lot of times that will blow up in your face. It'll blow up in your face, and then you find yourself coming back, backpedaling, pussy popping, and retracting, and then you can't keep them numbers. You end up becoming a joke. People start to say, that I ain't even watching, because they ain't got the whole story. They running and spewing mess, and then sometimes you even get court papers where people tell you to shut the hell up. Okay, so I never feel like I got to be the first one to come tell the story. I want to know as much about it as I can. And have I had to retract some things? Absolutely. But I steadily try to find out as much as I can, and then I go. Now, I seen a clip. I seen a clip of this, and this is what it was. It was like, okay, cool. Seen the clip of this piece of the conversation, the whole thing about Tamar. Then I seen a clip of Cam and K. Michelle talking, and K. Michelle ended up crying. And I'm like, what the heck is going on now? What has Cam got her crying? And then if you watched it all out of context and you didn't keep going, you would actually believe that Cam Newton really did something to K. Michelle. And I seen this clip first where he tried to hold her accountable. I said, well, what actually happened here? Is he trying to get back at her? I'm like, oh my God, this is the same interview. Is he trying to get back at her because she held him accountable in another part of the interview about some of his private life and how he ended up in the court of public opinion? So was it a get back thing and he ended up having her crying? So that's why I did it on purpose. I promise you, I did not clickbait you all. I was trying to show you something. I didn't clickbait you all. My title is K. Michelle threatens to slap Tamar Braxton and Cam Newton brings her to tears. Now, very easily, you could take it just like that. Oh my God. So he's taking up for Tamar. And he got her crying. It just depends on where you seen the clips and how the clips were. No, you got to go do your research. You got to go do your research. And clips are just that. It's just a little piece. It's a little piece. Okay. It's a little piece of a full conversation. They had a 2-hour conversation. They had a 2-hour conversation. Okay. Now, so like I said, I didn't clickbait you. Everything that I said in that title actually did happen in that interview. But again, when you're out there in the internet world, you're looking at these little clips. You don't have the full picture. You don't know what it is, and people build narratives. So this is why I did this video. This is why I did this video this way. I just wanted to show you something. I wanted to give you the tea. I'm going to give you the tea. But when the way that it all fell out and the way I had to piece everything back together to get to the real thing, I wanted to show how that works and how that happens and how sometimes clickbait stuff happens and how people live for that and they love to do that. Cam Newton did bring Kay to tears in part of the conversation, but it had nothing to do with Tamar Braxton. It had nothing to do with him holding her accountable about what she was doing, because he said you capping, to say that you are about women's empowerment, but you just said you'll slap her. In the other part of the interview, he talked about his situation with his woman friend and his baby's mamas and all of this stuff. Okay. Kay they literally were having a grown man and grown woman conversation back and forth. You need to go to Cam Newton and see it. It was a very in-depth, very interesting conversation where K. Michelle was saying how Black men need to step up and step into the lead and do the things that need to be done to bring the Black family back to the forefront. And she was saying how, and see, here's another thing, it could have been spun. She was saying how me being in country music, I see it all the time where white men do it. Why is it that Black men can't do it? I looked at that. I laughed at that. I said, let me write this on my notes so I can say this to the people. Do you see how if you only see a little piece or you only decide to talk about a little piece, you could spin it into something more salacious, which is what the media does. Now, that little piece right there, I could have dragged K. Michelle, because we know K. Michelle likes women, men. She likes Black. She likes white. K. Michelle is really open. She wants love. She really is open to her sexuality and what is out there. But it could have very easily been spent into, she's taking and she's comparing white men to Black men, and she's saying that white men are better. No, that's not what she's saying. That was not what she was saying to Cam Newton at all. At all. She was holding him accountable for the things that is in the media about him and some mistakes that he has actually made and different things like that, where he opened up, because he don't usually open up and talk about all that stuff very much, but he opened up to her. He was comfortable with her. She was comfortable with him, which is why it was such a great interview. And they literally had a conversation. She talked about her grandpa and how her grandmother died and her grandfather raised the 9 kids and all of this. And her grandfather was all these things that she see these white men over in the country music side of things. Because we're talking about men with money and power. She was comparing him to some of the white men, like producers and things like that. And she said how they go to work. They don't screw around and carry on. And if they do whatever they do, but they're respectable. They go and they build the family. The children know them. The children are taken care of. The woman is taken care of. The woman is held pedestal-like. When do Black men get back to this? Because that's the way things used to be. And she said that's the way she was raised. That's the type of man her grandfather was. She's not running to that. When is it that Black men get back to that? The Black women are looking to the Black men to actually do this. You can do this just like he can do it. You're sitting in a position of power. You got money. You got influence. You could actually do that. But no, you got this shit going on in the media back and forth. She says, what is this with Black men always? They're so willing to get down in social media and fight with a Black woman because Black women are strong. We all know that. Black women are strong. And sometimes men are looking at them as formidable opponents, and they are not. They are not. They are not. They are your mates. So no, you don't get down there. You and the Steph ain't working at home. So now y'all on social media, y'all fighting like two dudes or two girls. That was what her point was, and she was holding him accountable, just like when he was holding her accountable. So there was nothing malicious in their conversation at all. But when I seen it all in clips, it was very easy to get it all misconstrued. But when it was put together with one big, beautiful red bow on it, it was one of the best interviews that I have seen in quite a long time. When I say full transparency on the side of a black man and full transparency on the side of a black woman, usually you see two women have that kind of conversation, or you'll see two men have that conversation. But I have to say, and I'm standing from, listen, I'm a rainbow rider. Okay? I'm a rainbow rider. So no, that's not my life. That's not my life. That's part of my life. You know, that's the interaction I see with my mother and my father, but I'm not a mother father. I'm a father. Well, no, I ain't a father because that ain't me. That ain't me. I did my thing by myself, but I'm gay. Flat out, I'm gay. Okay. So my relationship will always end up being a same sex type of relationship. So come out of that. I ain't come from a same sex relationship home. I come from a home where I have a dad and I have a mother. Okay. So you only see that kind of thing at home. On television or in the world, you don't see a man and a woman be that open with one another in media, and they don't have any involvement. I thought it was a beautiful thing. I honestly, I sat there and I was just as full and happy with it. I thought it was a beautiful thing. And I urge you all, when you leave here, if you have not seen it, go and see it and pull it up at Cam Newton and watch the whole thing. Don't get thrown by the clips. The clips are really for salaciousness and entertainment, but really go and see the whole thing. It is a beautiful, melanated, heterosexual moment. And you got it from me. So you know I'm not lying. You know I'm not lying. But that's that. So I think I've done what it is that I set out to do. I'm looking at my chat. I'm live. I'm looking at my chat, and you all seem to be right on the page with me. Ain't nobody saying you crazy as hell, and I don't know what you're talking about. Y'all seem to know what I'm talking about, and I see the Happy Father's Day stuff. Thank you all. And happy Father's Day to the fathers out there, all types of fathers. Happy Father's Day, you guys. But yeah, it was a good time when I pulled everything together, and then I finally found the whole interview and I watched the whole interview. It was fantastic. Now I'm kind of done with that, but I do want to touch one more thing. Yeah, court of public opinion. Yeah, that court of public opinion is something else. But I want to touch this. K. Michelle, when it comes to interviews, she's been having, it's been quite a moment. Now, she had this other interview here. Okay, I want to talk about this, and then I'm gonna let y'all go. Okay, Kay had this interview with this here woman. I don't even know this broad's name. Okay, I started looking for her name, but then she irritated my soul so bad that I stopped looking for this heifer. I don't even care what her name is. I don't even care to give her that type of shine. Do you see her? This saggy jaw heifer. Literally, she is a part of that CMA Fest. She was entered CMA Fest 2025. K. Michelle was being interviewed by American songwriters. Okay. Now, I don't know her name. I don't care nothing about her name. But like I said, this old saggy jaw heifer was talking to Kay. Okay. She literally did this interview. She knew nothing about K. Michelle. She knew nothing about K. Michelle. She had no business conducting this interview. No business. And then if you do do the interview and you don't know the individual, there's a way to do it. You can fake your way through an interview with a person that you don't know a damn thing about, but she didn't do it. See, again, court of public opinion. She thought she knew K. Michelle. She knew, oh, she's from reality TV. It was always something, you know, it was nothing decent. None of her real background, okay? Now, K. Michelle is known to be a live wire. We always looked at K. Michelle like, oh gosh, she's gonna go left and all this. I was so proud of K. When the woman started the interview, was saying, you know, being as though you don't, you know, you didn't come from country. You know, what is it that you're trying to do? What is it that you're trying to bring to country? This, that. I said, oh, K gonna go left. K gonna go left. When I heard that heifer say, you're not from country, I said, K gonna go left. Now, I have to say, you know what I probably would have done? I probably would have walked out on her interview. I probably would have embarrassed the hell out of her and literally walked out on her interview. Like, baby, you don't know me. And when y'all get somebody who actually has a dossier on me, I'll come back and I will go ahead and interview. But I'm not sitting here talking to you. I'm not getting ready to sell myself to you. Now, that probably wouldn't be the best thing because Kay has been trying to get into the genre and, you know, she don't want to come across to, she's finding a different way to do it because she's messed up before, okay? When Cowboy Carter first dropped and everything was really moving for the black artists, like, and we got to be honest, they do their thing. We got plenty of country black artists, but when B dropped Cowboy Carter, the black female country artists, things start moving for them. Things started moving a bit for them. And Kay stepped on her own foot. She actually did. There was a video I saw where she made a comment and I was like, dang, Kay, you ain't moving along with everybody else. She made a comment and said, I sang better than everybody in here. She's at a country situation and she's the only black person. And she literally told them all, honey, girl, I sing country music and I don't care what y'all say because I can sing better than all of y'all. I was like, oh, no, Kay. And you didn't see K. Michelle move along like the young girls who were moving along because we've seen them. We've seen the movement when Cowboy Carter dropped. So here's the second go at it. And I said, I was proud of her because she stood there. I couldn't have done it. I could not have sat in that interview. Kay sat in the interview. She threw a little shade at the lady and she told the lady, she straightened around. She said, no. I do come from country. And the lady's like, oh, like she didn't believe her. And I'm like, you know nothing. K. Michelle literally, and she didn't go into, she literally has a degree. She went to college. She had a scholarship for yodeling. If that ain't country, I'll kiss your ass. Where do you yodel? Folk music and country. The lady knew nothing. She knew nothing. And she was smug. Somebody wrote it out there. She was smug and she was nasty. And she literally gave an aura of, you don't belong here. So why are you even trying to be here? And Kay's like, girl, I am this. Same things that Beyonce told. I am here. I don't have to come here. I was always this. I grew up with this. K. Michelle's from Nashville. Like, what are you talking about, lady? That lady, it was terrible. It was terrible. But K. Michelle really did hold her own. She kept her composure, and that is truly new K. Michelle. I was shocked to hear her say that she would slap Tamar because she ain't been on that type of time lately. Lately, she's been really on her grown woman, you know? So I was like, all right. So I was proud of her. But if I tell you that I don't understand the whole wanting to slap Tamar, yeah, I understand it. Because when you start playing with my coin, that's something different. That's something different. Kay is a mother just like Tamar is a mother. If Tamar couldn't feed that boy or her and Vincent's, she'd be pissed. And if you make it to where Kay can't feed her boy, she'll be pissed. So I get it. Beef always go back to, and then you threw the thing with the man in there. And I had to think for a minute. I said, well, is it Vince that she talking about? Or is it that what's his name, JR? I believe it's the JR guy. Because remember, JR dated Tommy. JR, he liked our girls. And I believe it was JR that was after K. Michelle. Because here's the thing. Maybe I shouldn't say. I'm going to say it. I wouldn't be me if I didn't say it. If Vince, she said before, during, and after. If Vince would have been after K. Michelle like that, there would have never been a Tamar. I said it. And on that, I'm done. I ain't got no more. If Vince would have been after K. Michelle, there would have never been a Tamar. I believe that little Vince would actually belong to K. Michelle if that was the case. Anyway, I'm done. I'm out of here. We say, Spillitboy, did you know Beyonce said K. Michelle and Master Floor? Yes, I remember when that happened. I was so happy, and she was so happy. I remember because she posted it on her. I follow K. You know, I don't follow a whole lot of celebrities. I don't, but I follow K. I love K. I love K. Michelle. Always have. Always have. I've always said K. Michelle never needed any work done. That was all in her head. It was all in her head. K. Michelle has always been built like a brick shit house. She has a song called I Can't Do This. That was the first song that I actually, that's back when she was working with R. Kelly. Her and Selena Johnson. I fell in love with the both of them all the way back at the beginnings of their careers when they were working with Robert. And that still remains to be one of my favorite K. Michelle songs. She, in the video, she has a cat suit with a hood on it, and it's real low cut, and you can see everything because that cat suit, if she'd have swallowed a Tic Tac, you could have seen it go down. K. Michelle, her body has always been banging. She didn't need any of that work. And, you know, a lot of that stuff, she didn't work through all that stuff. I'm really proud of her and where she is, you know, now. But Kay been through a whole lot of stuff. At some point, she'll sit her behind down with an ink pen and write herself a book. And I promise it'll be a bestseller because K. Michelle has lived some life. You understand me? She has lived through some things. She really, really has. But let me get on out of here. Y'all have a good day. And again, happy Father's Day. Thank y'all for the wishes. I appreciate it. And listen, yeah, y'all keep hearing this thing go. Thank y'all for the donations. I won't say your names when you do like Venmos and Cash Apps because some of those things have people's real names on them. So I don't do that. But thank you very much. I appreciate it. Mwah. Thank y'all. I'll see y'all on the flip side. Y'all have a good one.